The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Good evening and welcome to another edition of Vox Populi. Vox Populi means the voice of the people is the voice of God. Again, let me start by apologizing for the late start to all you decent and wonderful persons out there who I'm sure in your thousands are ready, willing, and able to start the show and so on. Yes? My friends, right. You'd forgive me, right. Yes. Right, so my friends, welcome, welcome, welcome. This evening, we are going to deal with some subject matters that would be inclusive of and I'll tell you in what order we'll deal with them in a while, inclusive of the tourist boat, Iowa George's song, the jab molasses discussion, and a political activist had to endure a very debilitating and embarrassing experience recently, and I would wish to share my thoughts on that matter as well. Yes? So, let's get to work. I propose to deal firstly with the issue of the tourist boat. So it's a low-hanging fruit in the scheme of things. If we have, of course, the picture of the boat, we'll put it up, because I'll tell you what, that is the boat. And it has a fancy name too, It has a massive fancy name and so. That boat, that vessel, was there last weekend, I think it was. Remember or perhaps the weekend before, and you remember all the hooray and hoorah and the rah-rah and the zing, ying, ying, ning, ning, and so going on about the fact that there was some tours to take place, and because of some circumstances, the island was not ready with the tour. And so you all remember that story? I don't know, you all remember that story? Well, and last week, of course, I spoke to some of the players and so that were involved. This week didn't work out. I'm not in Tobago for a number of reasons beyond my own control, but I'm not in Tobago. Simply because TNT cut me current this morning. The car shut down. I have to babysit exclusively because I got no help this weekend and so for it. Well, this week and so for it. And so I have to stay in Trinidad. But you all remember we spoke to the agent last week. We spoke to the maxi taxi operator, Mr. Williams. I can't remember the agent name. So if any of you remember the agent name, just remind me through the chat, please, and I'll appreciate that. And the name of the vessel. And I were to not do the show tonight, but I came home 2 minutes ago after a very long and challenging day. And I said, you know what? I will not abdicate the throne of my responsibility to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And so, late or no late, ready or not ready, I will do this show. And so, I'll do this show. So, you all remember all that ning, 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 ning last week? Well, guess what? After Liz Williams and those prophets of doom and gloom and so on, and after listening to the man, I can't remember, thank you very much, Sonia. After listening to Charles Cav, well, remember last week I was talking with the man name whole night and everybody keeps saying, not Navado, not Bravado. The man name is Cavallo. And after speaking to Cavallo last week, he said he would issue a press release, and the basis for me to speak to him again would have been on that press release. He issued none. But you know what? After Liz Williams writing and scribing and so, you know what? The vessel is returning to Tobago Saturday coming. Yes, whether you know it or not, I will tell you. That same vessel is returning to Tobago Saturday coming. So Saturday coming, we will see that vessel again on the island. I don't like embarrassing people. I don't like it, trust me. It's not my style. I don't like it. And I know some of you may not agree when I say it's not my style to embarrass people. But don't get me wrong, it's not my style to embarrass people. But there are some people, and I learned from an old woman who died, if the hair too old to bend down, me too young to peep. And maybe that creates an impression about me. But it's not my, I really not in the business of so embarrassing people and humiliating people. But there are some people, if they're not too old to bend down, me too young to peep. But sufficient to say, and I don't want to attack this person, except to say, I thought the problem might have been with Cavallo. I thought the problem might have been with the maxi taxi operators. It seemed to me, because if you can't keep your word on some very simple matters, how would you be able to keep your word in big things? I will not call the person name. He's a friend, and friends don't treat friends like that. Except to say, an official promised me a bundle of documents for me to inform you, as is my job, as is my task, as is my responsibility, and it is a responsibility I am not prepared to shirk, informing you, the people. Not a responsibility I am prepared to shirk. But that official told me he has a coordinating role in all of it. The vessel is returning on Saturday. And we will watch on. Yes, we would. We will watch on. Come, Popo. Come, Popsy. Come. Pops. Come. What happened? What happened? Why are you behaving like that? No, you can't beat me now. You'll beat me tonight. Come. So, yeah. Come. Come on. Come. You're not behaving in that. Come. Behave, right? You have to behave. One play. Yeah, so he promised me these documents and so. He delivered none. But he attempted to, he purports to me that the maxi taxi, you know, what on earth just happened there? I have no idea. Right, but he purports to me that the maxi taxi operators are the problem. And he purported to me that, yes, sweet. He purported to me that Williams and their thing is an issue of money from Cavallo. He purported that to me. He said he had the documents and so. All right, come and sit down, right? We have a guest tonight. We have a special guest tonight, right? We have a special guest tonight. Right, we have a special guest tonight. So he said to me that it's Williams and them. We have a special guest tonight. It's Williams and them because Cavallo owe them. They are militated. He said all of that to me. He said he would provide the bundle of documents to demonstrate that to me. He had provided nothing. So he expressed to me some concerns that they may have for Saturday because the vessel is returning on Saturday. But if the vessel is returning on Saturday, here is my point, because I didn't born yesterday. No, let me alone do it. No, I alone have to do the talking for now. You just have to be a guest and wave. Let me alone talk, right? Good. He suggested to me Williams are militating. And they have some plans going on. And as the plan going on, there are uncertainty. Now, I want you all to just remember. Okay, no. You have to behave. No, you can't sing. Don't sing. Don't sing. Not singing good. Don't sing. Suck your finger. Nice. Right. So he purported to me that Williams and them, good evening, Cloyd Williams, they are militating because Cavallo owed them. This is an official in the Division of Tourism, right? Let me repeat, this is an official in the Division of Tourism. I said, well, I want the bundle. You know why I raise these issues? Is to put it on the record. So when I come hard and I name an individual in the future, if that becomes necessary, I want to be able to say to you all remember I told you all something. And I don't want to get into the politics about it. I don't want to get into the politics about it. It would not be fair, and he's a friend. But he blamed Williams. So let me summarize this. He blamed Williams. He said Cavallo owe Williams. So Williams are making bacchanal and they're militating. But the vessel coming back Saturday. Now, if the vessel have suffered such a terrible experience, you think they would have been returning to our island? Some works that official told me are in train. They are seeing if they could put together vessels from tired. They're seeing if they could put together vehicles from the divisions and so. He gave me a list of names, how much they could get from education, how much the potential, how much they could get from agriculture. I think they tell me education at 3, agriculture at 2, works may have 1. They're looking at here. I want to also say Civilian Conservation Corps have 1. Check out them too. They have 10 maxis so far, 5 PTSC buses. They're looking at the division on the Civilian Conservation Corps has some. So, let us cross fingers. Let us cross fingers, my friends. Let us cross fingers, my friends. Let us knock wood and let us wish for the best this weekend on that experience. Because you know why I raise this issue? It's not to embarrass anyone. But it's a point out to you. It's a point out to you some machinations that may be taking place. Because we know what happened on the last occasion with that vessel. The vessel is returning. None of the players have been changed. That official, to me, have indicted himself, as far as I am concerned. He have indicted himself and attempted to put blame on Williams and others. I'll say no more on this matter tonight, except that let us watch the results of this weekend. And only raise it so that when I come next week and have to deal with it, and I assure you if I have to swim to Tobago, that I'll do. When I come to Tobago next week to deal with it, if this weekend turns out disastrous, then I intend to name names, call their names, and tell you what my suspicion about their conduct is. I will do that, and I have no difficulty doing that at that time. Because I don't want to jump the gun to tell you that Carvalho, I don't want to jump the gun to tell you that Carvalho would have been incorporated into the system when our next administration would have been there. I don't want to tell you that tonight. My friend, my partner, Jack Warner, does say, not tonight. I don't want to tell you, of course, right? Well, the difficulty I have is I may have to take a break. Chat with my the producers because I'm not in the studio, Cloyd. So I know the way we had used the technology on the last occasion, I don't know if I could do that now. Except if I can call you on WhatsApp, I may be able to use a independent phone and do it. But we'll have to take a break when that time comes for that. And I'll take the break in a while and I'll borrow a phone and see how that could work. And I'm really not techno savvy, so it's not answers I could give readily. But all I can say is stay on standby and we'll find a way to work that out. But I think I have discovered the problem. That is what I think. How you biting, Papa? You bite the girl. I think I have discovered the problem. I suspect very much I've discovered the problem. And I think that the issue is that Carvalho may have very well been a product, a facility of the last administration of the THA. And those who are administering over this issue came from that era also. And I shudder to think this is another attempt to embarrass this administration. I'll say no more about it. But I want to talk to Clyde Williams because he said he has something to share. Producer, let's take a break. Let's chat on WhatsApp. No, I know what I'm telling you, So let me summarize this before I get to Clyde Williams. An official in the Division of Transportation, Tourism, and Antiquities, I think that's the name. I think you're on the chat. I think that's the name. Tourism, Transportation, Antiquities. Tell me, you must get your facts straight. You must get your facts straight, right? You must get your facts straight. Not in a hostile way. In fact, we had 2 beers discussing it. So it wasn't hostility. He said, because I could tell you, Clyde Williams and them is the problem. Carvalho owe them, and they're militating. Because I just meet with them. We just think, and all of that conversation. Well, no, if that is the case, I want a bundle of documents. He promised me twice. I gave him the same phone number I have twice to send the same documents and twice. It is because of him, I know, when he told me the vessel is coming again Saturday. So I said, well, if this vessel came here last week and went through this terrible experience according to Liz Williams' version, that it went through this nasty experience, Thank you there. So it's tourism, culture, antiquities, and transportation. Thank you very much, Sonia. So if this vessel came here last week and went through this terrible experience, why would they return? And this official keep predicting to me that there may be another problem, but Cloyd Williams and their association will create the problem. I don't know what the facts are. I never drive a Maxi in my life. In fact, I could barely afford a bus ticket. So Maxi out for me. You think Maxi is penny? And I certainly never went on a cruise in my life. And in addition to working nowhere, I am not working in tourism, culture, antiquities, and transportation. But what I could do is triangulate the information. And based on what I heard, I suspect that last week may have very little, very, very little to do with the Maxi operators. I suspect what happened last week is a result of, and you see, when I bust this map properly, after seeing what happened this weekend, you all will understand what I'm saying. You all will understand what I'm saying. Because it seemed to me that Carvalho was part of an arrangement of the past, with a past regime. And the players are still in place. The players are still in place, and there may be attempts to embarrass this administration. I'm very sure in my mind about it. But as I tell you, it's a friend, and I want to do right by my friend. So I want to allow the week to pass and let us see what happens. Claude Williams, I want to speak to him. He may be able to assist us also in this. Remember, we have 4 subject matters. We started late. Director, let's take the break. Send Cloyd Williams' number for me on WhatsApp, and I'll see if I could use an independent device and call him as we did it last week. Yes?
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch Number 1, the building formerly occupied by Costa. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at Number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Building 1 and 2.
Yes, be careful.
Honey, I feel I'm gonna start to cook, yes, because these children must be hungry now. Right? Okay. Oh, shucks. Oh. These plugs, oh my gosh.
Hey, what's up? Hey, come from there, come from there.
What's going on in here?
Oh God, that's the boy. What would you do if this happened to you? Dial 990 in case of fire emergencies and always have a serviceable fire extinguisher ready and available at all times.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
Yes, folks, and we're back. So I know they're employed, the engineers, they're making arrangement to link with you and so. And as soon as they do, we'll chat. We will chat. So the topic is going nowhere, but as soon as they do, we will chat, right? I'll move on to another subject matter, not because that topic is ended, but as soon as the engineer link with you, I'll interrupt what I'm talking about to communicate and we will chat, yes? As soon as they do that. This job molasses conversation. But before I do that, I have received some, well, not much actually, quite frankly, it's one message, that I may not be coming across professional with my child on my lap in my house. Listen to me. You all listen to me very carefully. Listen to me and listen to me very, very carefully. Queen Elizabeth, in the middle of a Commonwealth function, meeting all the heads of the Commonwealth in the dining room in Buckingham Palace, her dogs, her corgis, her dogs walked into that room. And she ignored 114 world leaders and was playing with and comforting her dogs. Right? Prince Louis, his father would be first, brother second, Prince Louis, his sister. So Prince Louis, fourth in line to the throne, is seen in national events, including his grandfather's coronation. Just being a child, the king, his grandfather, the king, King Charles, does pick him up and put him in his lap in national and international public events. Why? So because I black and poor, I can't show the same affection to my child. Or leave me alone with that stupidness for me, please. Leave me alone with that nonsense for me, please. Right. That is a child. That is a child. Good. So let me move on to the other matters. There's nothing unprofessional about showing affection to your child. Absolutely nothing unprofessional about it. Good. This jab mala sitting. What is this about? What is this about? That the THA carried. Now, I'm not in culture. Yeah. I'm not in culture. Quite frankly, Carnival for me is really juvie, I must admit. Carnival for me is juvie. When I go to the juvie for me is to drink rum, wine on a bumper, get inebriated, and wine on more bumpers. That's juvie. Yes, I do see the characters, but I really don't go to the juvie to internalize or assess the characters. What was the character doing in London? I think that is the question. What was the character doing in London? Who complained? That is the point. Who complained? No, who complained? Was any British, was there complaints from the British officials? Were there complaints from any other European officials? I suspect the people who complain are persons on our shore here at home because they found that there was no place for that character in the event. Okay, I hear that, and that is, they are the professionals in culture, right? They are the professionals in culture. I am not. But they were the ones who made the complaints. What is the character about? Shadow won a road march, a national road march with it, depicting what the Tobago Carnival is about. I'm sure you remember this song. I am not going to sing it, but I'll try to recite a few of the words that I can remember. Long ago in Tobago, the carnival wasn't so. Was plenty jab and devil. They came down from Lekito. Dickie from Culloden, eyes always red. One Abyssinia, a hero of man. And he playing Lucifer with a fork in his hand. Jab, 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 jab. Pay the devil. That one he road march. People all over Trinidad were dancing to it. It won the road march. Right? It won the road march. The uniqueness about Dickie from Culloden and Abyssinia is that when you hear the historical antecedent and story surrounding them, is that before the Juve, and sometime during it and after, well, more so after the Juve, but during the carnival season, they were going village to village, ponging their biscuit tin, restraining Abyssinia, Dickie restraining Abyssinia with this fork, because they were demanding payments to the devil. Again, I am no cultural or official or more so professional, but it seems to me that logic and common sense must guide our discussions. It must guide our thoughts, and it must certainly guide our pronouncements. If that is a unique carnival character, similarly to Frosty the Snowman, where he's from, Germany has, if you're talking about folk characters, then maybe some of our cultural professionals need to visit Germany where there are a litany of folk characters. But it seemed to me that the Jab Malassi character really demonstrates a mockery to the draconianism of the taxman. And so the taxman was identified to be the devil. And so they go around masquerading in depiction of the devil, demanding taxes, pay the devil, pay the devil, pay the devil. So in essence, the characters were really a protest character creating this depiction of the draconianism and evilness and so of the taxman. In the United States of America, there is a depiction of Uncle Sam. So, to me, quite frankly, it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue. I suspect that the professionals will know why they raise the issues they raise. As I said, it's quite a non-issue. Because when you look at it, I mean, look at and forgive me for saying this, but look at the white man next to him and the white woman. I not seen anybody screaming and running in a frenzy. Why are we afraid of what we are culturally attached to? If we were to have a Disney World in the United States has characters like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck. In African tradition, we have Brer Nancy, Brer this, Brer that, Brer that, Brer the other. Characters known to us are the Jab Malassi, Sokonia, La Jabless. They cannot be good for us to enjoy here in Tobago, and we can't find ways to make them international products, right? So again, I'm really not getting into that debate, but those are my thoughts on it. I have done my work. I'm not in culture, but I'm in common sense. And common sense and logic would suggest to me that the Jab Malassi character, as I said, remember, Shadow epitomized it in a calypso and won the monarch. I think he won the crown as well. Pay the devil, pay the devil, pay the devil. Long ago in Tobago. He didn't say long ago in Trinidad and Tobago. So clearly there was something unique to do that character, that carnival character being from Tobago. Long ago in Tobago, the carnival wasn't so. In other words, he was saying something is missing from the carnival. So long ago in Tobago, the carnival wasn't so. Was plenty jab and devil. They came down from Lekito. They came from Culloden, and he was able to name them. Eyes always red. One Abyssinia, a hero of man, playing Lucifer with a fork in his hand. Pack, 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 pack. Pay the devil. So it was really, those characters are really protest characters, protesting against the draconianism and so of the taxman. That is what it was. I've seen no British person, I've seen no European person at the festival complaining. I've seen no complaint, I've seen no screaming, there was no irie raised by them. And you know what is sad? It's sad that the irie were raised by persons who are the professionals in this regard that ought to teach up the characteristics of the depiction and the character and so. And clearly they were unable to do that. And it seemed to me that this issue is really about a group of professionals who found that the characters ought not to have gone, but there was some executive decision to carry the character, and now they're attempting to intellectualize nonsense. I go back and I end with the point I made. When I was a child in Signal Hill Primary School, Miss Merle Edwards, our standard 5 teacher, took us to the museum in Spring Garden. I must admit, that thing horrified me for a long while. But we had to go to this museum in Spring Garden where we were able to see characters. So we saw the Lajables, we saw the Sokonia Lajables. Those are characters known to us. And you know what I can't understand about these professionals, and I'll say no more about it because I said it. That culture is not my thing. What I can't understand about them, these same cultural professionals, they take pride in administrating and overseeing and spending millions of taxpayers' money from the Tobago House Assembly to look over the Heritage Festival. And they teach these characters, they promote these characters, they sell these characters. In fact, it is the creation and rejuvenation and lessons and so on, these characters upon which their spending taxpayers' money in the Tobago Heritage Festival is based. But the character went to London, right? The character went to London. There's Gibson, all right. The character went to London. Producer, I want to indulge you if you can, sometime before the show is over, find that Shadow Calypso for me. Pay the Devil, you know, long ago in Tobago. The carnival wasn't so, oh God. I would like to play. So they sell these characters for Heritage Festival. They administrate over these characters. They spend millions of taxpayers' money to reproduce the nature and characteristics and so of these characters. But the character went to London and they became embarrassed about a character they enjoy spending millions of our monies home to promote. To me, I think it's sheer hypocrisy and a complete non-issue. Right. Are we getting Cloyd or not? So now I want to turn now to Mr. Iowa George's National Anthem Soca. Iowa George's National Anthem Soca. Forged from the love of liberty. Now, I heard everybody on it, and Iowa George is more PNM than Eric Williams. Let me repeat that. Iowa George is more PNM than Eric Williams. Why did I raise that? A national anthem would be sacred to those who can identify value in its words. I want to repeat that. A national anthem will be sacred in any country. So let us move on now from this Iowa George. Iowa is more PNM than Eric Williams. And if Iowa George is protesting against this government, right? If Iowa George is protesting against this government through what is loosely called the desecration of the national anthem, then that is Iowa George's right to do that, right? But a national anthem is only sacred, right? A national anthem is only sacred to those who can identify value to its words. What does the national anthem mean to the person and the persons sitting now at Eric Williams Medical Complex on a bench or on a piece of cardboard on the ground outside the casualty and have been waiting there for the last 12 hours, and most likely they have about 9 hours again to wait until they could finally see a doctor. Tell me what part of the national anthem has value to that person. What does the national anthem mean to the street dweller who has to sleep in front Royal Bank? In front Royal Bank, you see the hundreds of street dwellers there. And those of us who has millions in that bank, we walk over them to go and do transaction, whether it's through the ATM or over the counter. What does the national anthem mean to that street dweller sitting there, lying there, suffering there? What does the national anthem mean to the boy or girl who have been on remand for the last 23 years? Not because they are guilty, that is why they are on remand, but simply because, and so some petty offenses, but simply because their family just cannot afford the 10% of the bail to pay the bailer, and they have no deed, so they can't get bail, and they don't have the money to pay the JP, and JPs collect monies to process bails, and that is illegal. That is illegal. It is illegal. It is against the law. It is a crime for justices of the peace to collect monies to process bails. It's a crime. But everybody knows how much money you must get for the JP to go by a police station or a prison to bail someone. So the families who cannot afford that, their relative is there on the remand yard, 20-something years, just simply waiting their day in court in a very broken system, but they don't have enough money to hire a lawyer like Kyle Taklal Singh or Jagdev Singh or Ramesh Maharaj or Anand Ram Logan or Navindra Ramnanan or Odai Ramishan. They don't have that kind of, or Gilbert Peterson. They don't have that kind of money to afford those fellas. So you know what? They are just waiting their day. 20-something years have gone, and they're just there in remand suffering. What does the national anthem mean to that person? What does the national anthem mean to a mother who is holding her belly and bawling outside the Forensic Science Center because her son or daughter got killed? And she is sure, and we too must confirm, we too can confirm rather, that there'll be no detection, no prosecution of her murderers. What does the national anthem mean to that person? So a national anthem would only have value insofar as the words can relate to the citizen. When last in Trinidad and Tobago, under this brutal criminal regime governing us, have you had a good citizen moment? And walk up and down, so sweetie, right? Right. Sit. When last have you had a good citizen moment? This is my beloved child in whom I'm well pleased. When last have you had a good citizen moment? Tell me that you could sing your anthem with pride. When last in this country could you, and let us go. No, you're having a show of your own. That can't work. Go and do something. You're having a show of your own. That can't work. Forge. Let us go through. Let us internalize the words and identify. Tell me, Trinidad and Tobago, where have you or where can you identify with your national anthem? Forged from the love of liberty. So we have we have Mr. Williams with us.
Yes, Skip. Can you hear me clearly now?
I am hearing you very clearly, my friend. All right, good. I'm seeing everything clear now. Right. I did promise, so folks, we'll get back to this national anthem story in a little while. Right? But I did promise that I'll interrupt myself. Once we have it's Cloyd Williams online with us, yes?
Correct.
Let me shoot from the hip, Cloyd. Is it okay if I call you
Go
Cloyd?
ahead. Any call me anything. It doesn't matter.
Right. Me too. You could call me anything. Just don't call me collect.
All right, I hear you loud and clear.
So that might be a bill I can't pay. Yeah, good. So the boat is returning to this country on Saturday, yes? Or no?
Correct. Yes, man, same amount, capacity 2,886, and
it's
more
returning with
tours, the full capacity.
Okay.
Right. And more tours has been sold than last Saturday. Last Saturday they requested, I think it was 33 maxis. Now it gone to about 3940, which is more than last time. But what I was told that the Secretary for Tourism done such country. I know some back apology was sent to all the passengers, the 700 passengers, and that would have encouraged the ship to return to Tobago. That is what I was told, you know. But
right. So
I was very much.
The
Go ahead.
Secretary for Tourism intervention intervention have caused the ship to return back to our shores.
Yes, that is what I was
and of
told.
course, you know, all people that say we must give Jackie jacket, we must give Jackie jacket, Jimmy Jim boots, and Dora she petticoat. So we must compliment the Secretary for that intervention.
Yes, I agree. I think so. But, that's a great one, and to hold the ship with that magnitude, I think it will Tobago. But Skippy, I was concerned about the papers. You said that person have in tourism in terms of the documents, and they're saying that I am the one, or we, the Maxi Taxi, is the one giving the problem. To reassure you and all the listeners that we're not giving any problem. We are patriotic citizens. We are here to fight for the cause of Tobago. Do what we can to save the destination and that kind of thing. As I said last week, we did not strike, and I want to reaffirm everybody have us. Of course, there was a shortfall, and I blame the shortfall of not having a structure put together, because if you have these tours, you must have a structure. People are ready to go to the various points of interest, and I blame also those who were in charge, because Mr. Wilson has been calling me, but the guy, I wouldn't call his name, who is on the Tatil or Tital board, who is in charge of transport, they never put anything together. And that would cause the big embarrassment and disappointment to Tobago. And
But
that should not happen.
Let's move forward now. So,
all right.
Based on the meetings and so, are we ready for Saturday?
Let me tell you exactly that we are getting ready. We are still getting ready. Getting the buses together is much more encouraging. For now, I would have had about large buses, about let me just look at my papers before me. I think about 13, and I'm now going through the small buses. It could be also 19. Secondly, what we would have done, or I would have done, I would have sent a letter to all the division in the Tobago House Assembly who has buses to make the buses available, which I would have done long time years ago, and that was turned down by this other guy, which I wouldn't call his name, and now they are going to it, right? I even went down to MIC. They have one bus. They take all the information, and they had to call me back on that. I went also to the Prime Minister's office, where Ministry of Tobago Development used to be. What do they call it again? Cass Central Services, and I
Yes,
left a letter. They
yes.
have two rows of buses, and I asked them, but I understand they're not working, right? And you mentioned tonight, I'm going tomorrow
PCC.
to Civilian Corps
Yes,
and see what.
they have a bus. I saw it at time by a gas station putting in gas.
Right, I'm going to attack that tomorrow. So I am trying my best to avert that kind of disaster, that thing that happened, because it's really embarrassing and worldwide, you know.
Yes.
So we have a responsibility. You have,
But
me
I
have, the
think
secretary, all
I
of us have
think
a
because
responsibility.
yes. But I am of the view that because of the secretary, I'm learning now, because of the secretary's intervention, the ship have returned. So I think that embarrassment have subsided. So I just wanted to confirm if we were ready for this weekend.
Right? Because the tours are still being sold, you know, because they don't stop. Only the agent, Mr. Cavallo, can stop the sale of the tours. And it's still live. And people are still buying the tours. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I think things will work out. I'm optimistic. Okay? I'm optimistic. And what I was told is that PTSC is now going to supply about 5 of the large buses, and we're going to get at least 8 buses from the division. But I think with how the toy is selling now, we need more buses from the division. And I'm going to attack that tomorrow.
So there's a
And to see if we
demand.
can get
So
at
there's
least.
a demand to tour the island.
That's right. And again, I want to reiterate the point that we need more buses in Tobago and more maxis. And I said in an interview on the port this morning that I am going to stand up autonomy for Tobago and get our own commissioner with Ministry of Vox and that kind of thing. That when these crises come, there's somebody to listen to us. But don't care what we say now.
Yes.
Look what happened, and nobody listening. Nobody listening to us.
Just walk us through, and those who may have missed last week, that it's a tariff arrangement with how much maxi operation approvals are tariff to areas, yes?
Yes.
And the time have come now
I think we can.
where the tariff decision for Tobago need to be increased.
Of course. And Skippy, let me tell you this again, because not everybody was on the program last week, so I'm just repeating a few things last week and then we move on.
Yes, sure.
We don't have 100 maxis in Tobago. We have less than that, and some of them are very old, and we have to service the cruise ship. We are contracted with the Tobago House of Assembly, with the school contract, carrying children all over the, Tobago from different areas of Tobago, right? We are, even with the airlines, we service the airline. There are groups coming from Trinidad. We service these groups, you know what I mean? So it's...
Yes. Hello? Hello? Hola, senor. Let me... So... yes. All right, so... Right, I'm told that we lost him, so... Wow, it's so difficult juggling 2 topics, but... Right. Sweet. So, forged from the love. Let me go back to it. Tell me, what does this mean to you as a citizen? You see, because I am not saying that there must not be patriotism. I'm saying there must be patriotism. But in this democracy we call Trinidad and Tobago, right? In this democracy, in this democracy we call Trinidad and Tobago, these things must have meaning to the citizens. When we got independence, it was a proud moment. We wave our little flags. we screamed, we shout, we waved, we danced, we pranced, we had a ball. It was independence, right? All right, so folks, yes, welcome back, Lloyd. I'm told that the Police Youth Club, Roxborough Police Youth Club have a bus, Boys Brigade have a bus.
All right, in them down, boys, BOYS, Boys Brigade.
Boys Brigade have a bus. Thank you, Didan.
PO.
Roxborough Police Youth Club have a bus.
And the thing is, Skippy, you hearing me?
Yes, I am.
If you lend us
Yes,
the
I am
bus,
hearing
they are
you
going to pay
clearly.
just as right. They are going to be paid just as a maxi because they are supplementing for maxi. Okay, so the bus come. If
Yes.
your maxi charge $1,000, we pay them the same thing. Right? That can help the
Okay.
Roxborough Youth Club. It can help the division. So it's not a
Of
favor.
course.
We charge Mr.
Of
Cavallo
course.
just as a maxi taxi, right? And
Yes.
the way we are going. So it's not that you lending us free. Let me put it at free. You charge us or we pay the same thing just as how we bill Mr. Cavallo for a maxi. We're going to bill
And
for that and all
I
the money.
don't think that, and I agree with you, but you just have a little delay, so forgive me for if I may have spoken over you. But I don't think, right, that the discussing solutions to public affairs and national affairs in the open is anything wrong, because it would seem to be CCC would have other buses in Trinidad as well. Saturday is a holiday, there is a weekend, so let the CCP people in Tobago tell you how much buses they have. I mean, you don't have to deal with Trinidad. Let they bring it up, because CCC, then they do spectacular work. They do great work with young people. They always want a little more in the kitty, so they could. Let me tell you something. I think people just underestimate the work of CCC. They do fabulous work, but they're underfunded like every other organization I imagine in the world. So here is an opportunity for them, and so include Police Youth Club, to put a little more in the kitty.
That's right. It's a
Christmas is
business.
coming. The goose is getting fat.
Yes. I agree with you 100%. Quite true.
Yes.
All right.
So
Work out. All right. And I'm going
we're
to keep you
looking good
updated again.
for,
I mean, next.
and
Next.
I want you to keep us updated, to keep us very updated on the ultimate solution to this issue, which is either, because we have a secretary in Tobago for transportation, it is on the one of the schedules of the THA Act. The THA schedule of, I think it's fourth or fifth schedule. Somebody help me quickly. Might be the fourth schedule, fifth schedule. But it's on the schedule of THA responsibilities. And it would seem to me, if that exists on the THA Act, then the law should allow the THA secretary to be the one responsible for managing the quantity, the fifth schedule, thank you, managing the quantity of maxi operations in Tobago. And thank you, Wendy and my setter, and remove it from the Minister of Works. This may require a judicial interpretation, but certainly it can start with a discussion with the Minister of Works. We really look forward, and I hold you to that. In fact, on behalf of the people of Tobago, we charge you with that responsibility to write the Minister of Works forthwith about this situation, because ultimately it is the minister increasing the tariff in Trinidad, the tariff of maxi taxis for Tobago, when we have a secretary for transportation in Tobago, that will solve this problem. Because other ships will come. This ship gave us a second opportunity. But what if Police Youth Club, CCC, what if all the division, they have the other things to do? So the ultimate solution, my brother Williams, yes, Floyd Williams, is to increase the maxi taxi capacity and operation in Tobago. And if it is the Minister of Works responsible for it, then I think you and your association need to be knocking the minister's door from last night on this matter.
I am going to
What
knock
do
the
you say about
minister's
that?
door from tomorrow. Tonight, I'm
Yes.
going to start to put a letter together, and I'm going to knock him from tomorrow about this again for the umpteenth time. That has been done before by me, and I'm going to do it tomorrow again. Send a letter down to him, and just that advice that you give me there, I'm going to send it down to him. And after the
Yeah.
program, you can just WhatsApp that little advice to me,
Yeah.
so I get it correctly.
And I give you the assurance. I give you the assurance. Because recently I had to seek out the best. And so I have found what I consider to be the best constitutional lawyers in this country. And they have King's Counsel in their chambers as well. And I am sure a conversation from me on behalf of your association, depending on the minister's response, I am sure I can get them involved to assist you all with any legal things you may have to, legal hurdles you may have to climb.
As I could, I hope you wouldn't get fed up with me, but I need the kind of help, and I thank you very much for having me on the program, and that I can share our concerns, and hope that this thing work out. And by next week, I'm going to give you a further update on what transpired on Saturday coming. Right? So thank you, and God bless.
Yes, I look forward to that because we'll. Thank you. Right. So yes, folks. So we go back to it. The love of liberty. Now, what does that mean? I remember somewhere I went, somebody sang, Sasha Wilson is my country, and so. And the person sitting next to where I was sitting said, "Sweet auntie, what is that? Trinidad is about kill who you don't like, kill mother, kill father, kill child, kill dog, kill." Trinidad have become a killing field. Trinidad and Tobago is now in the realm and rank. Trinidad is now in the realm and rank with places like Ukraine and Gaza. And some of you say, no, Skippy, that's an exaggeration. Stop it. But you see, there are persons brighter than me on here, and I see their names. I see them, you know. There are persons who went to school and studied this. There are persons who went to school and studied this thing. There are persons who went big school in Canada and all about and studied matters of statistics and all of that. Yes, Didan, you had used one to talk about Didan Daniel. They study these matters. And when you compare the ratio of person here. So per ratio per capita, Trinidad is now 1.6 million people with a murder rate of 500 and climbing. We live in a country where a family went to bed, and when they woke up, they were robbed. And when they went to report the robbery, it's in today's newspaper, the person who is alleged to have perpetrated the robbery was sitting behind the desk waiting to take the report. We live in a country where the police tell you, through their official press releases and so, when the police come by you, call the police station. They tell us that. This is the country we live in. We live in a country where the police can arrest you, detain you and so, on murder inquiries. And when they are ready to let you go, they call your gang combatants and say, "Come now, we let it clear," and so on. That is the Trinidad and Tobago we now live in. Right? That is the Trinidad and Tobago in which we live. So what does that mean to the victims who have to endure and undergo that type of suffering from crime and criminality every day? Let us look also now at the justice system we have in this country, the criminal justice system we have in this country. System. No, I have a thesis on the. It's going to be brief short, brute. Because our criminal system in this country is no less than this. Right? It is no more. Let me tell you all what is the criminal justice system in this country. Our criminal justice system is this. A middle class policeman arrest a lower class African boy, carry him before and who sends him to jail in Syria. That is our criminal justice. Victims of that system will find no value in the national anthem. Right? Is this thing freezing? I don't want to reload it or anything, but I want to repeat it. I know it froze, and I don't want you to miss this point. I want to, if I have to write a thesis on our criminal justice system, it's a short one. A short one. Our criminal justice system is no more, no less than this. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better now. Yeah, I think it's a thanks, June. I think it's a little bit better now. Our criminal justice is no more and no less than this. A middle class policeman had a stick again. Patience, you know. Stick again. Thinking if I don't know if it's me, so let me just talk. So a middle class policeman arrest a lower class African boy, carry him before an Indian magistrate who sends him to jail in a Syrian truck. That is our criminal justice system in this country. Now you tell me, Trinidad and Tobago, who and those of they that have become victims in that frolic of a system will attach value to the national anthem. And it goes on, forged from the love of liberty. What liberty? What liberty? We live in a country where our Prime Minister tells us that his task as head of the executive in this country is to make the rich richer. So if the rich get richer, they will help the poor. That is a cabinet policy. That is a cabinet policy in Trinidad and Tobago, pronounced upon by the Prime Minister who leads cabinet. That their policy is to make it richer and make the rich get richer will help the poor. And we are, those of us who are poor in this country, we can attach no value, but it for fires of hope and prayer. What hope? We are living in a country now that is hopeless under Rowley, Imbert, Alwari, Stuart Young, Fitzgerald Hines, what's your name? Dubzigali. Look, I never worked Registrar General in my life, but she, the Minister of Education. We live in a country with them in cabinet. Camille Regis Robinson Regis, Marvin Gonzalez. We live in a hopeless country. So we are forced to sing in the fires of hope and prayer. We live in a country where rather than relentlessly pursue them and vigorously prosecute them, police officers are making deals, gangs. That is the country in which with boundless for destiny. The people in this country has no faith in our destiny under Rowley, Imbert, Hal Warry, Stuart Young, Fitzgerald Hine, Regis Robinson, Marvin Gonzaga, and the whole group of them, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand. Standing side by Tobago. Is Tobago side by side with Trinidad? Islands of the Blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. This our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means citizenry. And citizenry is a public law contractual issue. A public law issue. I will pay my taxes, but you must provide me with security, education, health, and these sort of matters. Is it fair? Is the government led by Rowley and others? Is this criminal terrorist government we have in this country? Are they being fair? We pay our taxes, they impose more. We pay them still, they impose more. Because the minister said, no, I'm raising it again, them doesn't riot, they're riot yet. He said that. We chose not to riot in this country. We chose not to riot in this country because we know our country needs us, according to Black Stalin, more than ever. And nothing is too much for us to sacrifice for this country. But in doing it, we are abused by this Rowley. So what would that mean to us? Here and then, here the joke in this anthem, and race. Creed and race. If I ask the question, what does creed mean? You know, a lot of people will not know. I did a survey on it recently. What does creed mean? And people was like, creed mean your religious beliefs. Here, every creed and race find an equal place. Is that true? I'm making no comment on it. Here, every race find an equal place. I can accept to ask, is that true? I'm staying away from commenting on it. But if there anybody out there who would tell me that every Trinidad and Tobago found equal place, then I will be the first of our nation. Are the Baptists being shown the same respect and given the same amount of money in grants and subsidies and so, like the Roman Catholic? The government have helped, saying they should not. The Roman is millions of dollars to refurbish their cathedrals and so. Now I understand why, and maybe I should tell you why. Because the reason why Port of Spain and San Fernando is a city and we don't have a city anywhere else is simply because you must have a cathedral in town and country development thing, and that's a whole British thing. You must have a cathedral to be declared a city, right? So I have no difficulty with the assistance they have received, and so I think they must receive it. But for the love of God, no, for the love of God, or for the love of everything, for all the tea in China, right? For all the tea in China, you can't help plenty of them Baptist church. You cannot help plenty of them Baptist church, especially since, most of them operating in strained conditions and so. And then we say, let God bless our nation. So my final word on this thing is that we want God to bless our nation, but we remove the Trinity Cross as our national emblem. The Trinity Cross, my final word for you tonight, The Trinity Cross is a seal. It is a seal. See how the police have a cap badge? I think the Star of David, that is a seal. See the prison officers as they reach with the 2 cross keys, that is a seal. See fire service has a cap badge, that is a seal. The coat of arms, that is a seal. We remove the Trinity Cross. And I challenge plenty of you to do some research tonight and start looking at the trajectory of when this country started plummeting downward and steeply and rapidly. And I would submit to you to assist your research. It was when we removed the Trinity Cross, a seal on this nation. It's when we removed the Trinity Cross as our most prestigious national emblem. God is ashamed of Trinidad under Keith Rowley and his administration. The national anthem has very little or no value to most of us in this country. We must reach the stage, we must reach the place, and we must put in the work. We must put in the work where the day will come, soon and very soon, when we could hold hands and sing our national anthem with joy, with pride, and attach value to its words and its meaning, because we once again live in a Trinidad and Tobago where each and every one of us, regardless of creed or race, or rank or financial status and so, could identify with every word and every sentence of our national anthem. Until then, my friend, let us pray, because certainly by the way things are going, God doesn't seem to be blessing our nation. Good night and shalom.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the commentators, guest, and host. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the policy or the views held by Tobago Updates or this network. Tobago Updates or this network cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.